Good evening, dandies. Welcome to Undetermined, the podcast.
We'll find a good jumping off point.
And you guys can fix everything in post.
Yes.
That's the beauty of post. So I'm Matt, by the way.
Matt and John.
Yep.
Matt and John. I'm John, guy you've been talking to.
As a John without an H, how does that work? Because is it your choice, or is that something that I've always wondered about that.
I don't know necessarily that I can remember when it started. I think it was just that my parents just called me John all the time, but I knew that my name was Jonathan, technically, so that's how it's spelled.
Okay, so Jonathan is the one without the H, and then just John is the one with the H.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't spelled
Typically, except my brother, his name is John, and there's no H, and it's just John.
Right. Yep.
But he doesn't go by his first name, so.
Yeah. And I didn't really realize until a few months ago that Jack is actually a derivative of John.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Kennedy.
Yeah, Jack Kennedy made sense. I was like,
Exactly. Yeah, that's it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you can fix all that in post.
We can.
Oh, this might get included.
Yeah.
It's fascinating shit,
That's
man.
the kind of stuff we talk about, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's it like having alternate personalities? While we're kind of on names, do you ever have a preference or a preferred time?
Oh, I don't really look at it that way. The whole thing with a stage name is just that it's just a stage name. It's something that I spent maybe 3 seconds thinking about a long time ago, and you're just stuck with it because that was on the first recording.
Yeah.
So it's not anything.
It's pretty damn funny too. So
I was 24 years old. It's a long time ago, and like I said, when you start a band, you don't think it's going to last as long as this one has. And, I could quit anytime. It's been too fun to quit. So that's kind of it. Just like you take the good and the bad, the pros and the cons, and the good always outweighs the bad. The pros always outweigh the cons, and you just keep going.
Right. When I started in radio, one of the guys that when I first came on, I was trying to figure out what my air name was going to be. And he sat me down. And he's like, think it out. I was going to go with Galactic Cowboy at one time.
But I mean, honestly, yeah. I mean, if you're going into a radio job, that is like when we started the band, there was just no expectation whatsoever that it would last longer than a week. It's like, it's like if you're getting a radio position, you have to think that through. Like there are consequences for what I was doing. It was just like this shit's gonna be over in 10 days. So.
Yeah. Well, for the radio station I worked at, also I got paid in CDs and backstage passes. That was really my income.
Well, that's what I tell people all the time about like any job in entertainment, whether it's radio or what I'm doing or making movies and stuff. There's what people think you're getting paid, and then you cut that by divide it by 7, and that's what you're getting.
Yes.
Because everyone wants to do it. Everyone wants to be on the radio. Everyone wants to be a personality.
Right.
That you can pay people less, and that's the biggest takeaway.
Unless you're really good at roulette.
I mean, you got a 1 in 36 chance. Yeah.
Yeah, I've just been watching that earlier. I didn't watch the last 20 minutes because I knew we were going to set up.
Oh, okay. You're talking about our movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fun time doing that. I'm glad we did it.
I thought it was hilarious.
Thanks. You won't believe the ending.
Okay. Good. Yeah, very funny. I think it's got one of my favorite new Christmas songs in it now, especially that.
Oh yeah. That's the woman from that scene. I was chatting with her today. She got me into I don't know if you're familiar with the band Magnetic Fields, the 69 love songs. She got me into a private Facebook group where 69 artists do one of the love songs, and she got me into that today. So,
sweet.
It's cool. She's a good friend, and actually just toured Australia, and she was kind of the impetus for it. She's from Perth, so she's an asset, not a liability. That one.
Yeah,
nice.
That's certainly. Well, I don't want to give any spoilers away on the movie, but I think everybody should watch it.
Oh, thank you so much.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah,
very funny. A little late to the party, but got to see it. Got to start it today.
And are you guys are both in Columbia?
I'm in Columbia. Matt's in Kansas City.
Yeah,
the best two.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Of
Honestly,
course.
I wouldn't live anywhere else in the state.
Nah.
But I like it here. You're in Ground Zero right now, huh?
Yeah, we're in Brooklyn. We're 6 weeks into the lockdown, and they say May 15th. Who knows? I mean, there were a couple like there was a restaurant and a pharmacy and kind of like a bodega that were all like they were all voluntarily closed for this whole thing, and they all just reopened this weekend.
Oh wow,
that's a good sign. It's like they're choosing to be open when they weren't choosing to be open, and you get the feeling that slowly but surely, but who knows? Nobody has any answers.
Yeah, that was the thing I just found a little bit creepy today from just reading about Cuomo. It's like phase 1. And I'm thinking, man, anytime I've seen a sci-fi movie,
oh yeah,
and the government says phase 1,
yeah, it's this is the only place I've been since all this happened, so I honestly can't say what it's like in Missouri or
weird
in Michigan where I'm from, but here it makes total sense just because it is so densely populated,
yeah,
and because the numbers are so high that I mean, like they can't fuck around.
Exactly,
it's got to be done right. I'm not sure it is being done right, but I mean they have to at least try.
Yeah, shit. I don't have any better ideas, that's for sure. But
yeah, well, we're not doing it right here.
Yeah.
Well, at least in Missouri, in the Midwest, I think we're fucking up a lot of stuff.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff we're getting right, and really, you're having to go to and sit in like a brag or whatever it might sound like, but the cities are getting it more right than the more rural parts of the state.
Yeah.
Yeah, that checks out. I mean, it is like we're used to living on top of each other, and it in a weird way, it's kind of easier to do this here. I think. I mean, we just kind of shut in, and I do go out. I go to the park and stuff, and it hasn't been the worst thing ever. I'd like to say I've been productive throughout all this, but I have 2 small kids, and I have no time to do anything, honestly. So it's gone by really quickly for me.
Yeah, well, that's a big part of it, especially when you've got them. I mean, you think about public schools and how much daycare they provide basically for everybody across the country, and
yeah,
it's a full-time job for people.
Yeah, it's been a strange little wrinkle. I was lucky that in February I went to Australia for 2 weeks, and then I went to Mexico for a week. So I had a pretty cool February.
Yeah.
Boy, yeah, you squeaked that in.
Got a great month in before all this, so yeah, they can throw this at me for about 3 years. I think I'll be fine. So yeah. My February was like the gulp of air like a whale takes before it goes down for like five hours.
Exactly.
That's a good description.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yep, mine not that eventful, but
yeah.
So were you doing shows, or were you just traveling?
Mexico was with my wife and kids, just a resort, like a week, and then Australia was I was doing solo acoustic.
Nice.
The band has not been to Australia in 15 years, and because of Mel, the woman in that scene in the roulette, she lives in Perth. She had a birthday. She invited me to come play her birthday party, and then also Perth Fringe Festival. And so while I'm down there, I'm thinking, well, I'm in Perth. I might as well play the other cities. And I got a booking agent and got gigs in Melbourne, Adelaide, Sydney, etc. And just put together like a solo tour, and it was fantastic.
Nice.
So worth doing. It was great.
Awesome.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot better timing than a lot of other friends we've got in the industry.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean we're shut down all year.
Yeah,
we have shows booked in June, July. I would be very surprised if they actually happen. I mean, I don't think they can. And then we're hopeful that our European shows in November will happen. Those are slightly more believable that could take place. But if we can tour, we'll do it. But it's just not going to happen until it happens.
Yeah. Just the efficiency of the testing over there and everything, you think? I think there'll be more in the clear.
I do. Yeah, I believe. I mean, you're looking at like Denmark just opened up. That's one of the city. Like we have a Copenhagen show, and if they're opening up now, I mean, who knows? I'm not an anesthesiologist.
What did your virology team tell you this morning?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're very hopeful that at some point in our natural life that we'll play one more show.
Right.
Good. That has to happen. I hope we play one more here.
Oh, I'd love to. I mean, Columbia is very special. It was when what is it called? Rose's Music Hall, but when it was called Mojo's,
Mm-hmm.
And when the band started touring, that was kind of the first show, at least American show that we played that was out of our comfort zone. So it was like the first, like we did our first U.S. tour. The first show was in Detroit, where we played before. Second show was in Chicago, where we played before a bunch of times. And then we started making our way out west for the first time ever. And the third show was at Mojo's in Columbia.
Yeah.
And so that was like the first time in this, like I was in the United States and felt like I was on tour. And the best part was it was a Sunday night during spring break.
Yep.
So there were 6 people there. It was like we just sold out the Double Door in Chicago. We'd sold out the Magic Stick in Detroit, and then we're playing a table at.
Wow.
Basically.
That's
right.
That's a nice
The first
venue,
time I
though.
met you was there.
Yeah. Oh, I love that room, and we were just there last year. I love it. I always enjoy playing that room, so that's why it's special to me. Is that that's where it all started. That's where you got to see what the road can be. Like you can have 700 people in a room one night and 2 people in the room next night. That's just how it goes.
Right. Yeah. I think Mark Mallman, opened for you guys that night.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it was, I think that's the night I think I met you there.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, there weren't many people at all. I know that it was like coming up on a work day the next day and everything else. So
yeah, we normally do. We normally do about 50 people there. Which is that's all you need. All you need to have a good time.
Yeah.
Mallman and I are still really tight. He's been doing live shows out of his house on Facebook, and yeah, it's he's just a very, very unique guy to know.
Yeah, I can remember asking you guys just like, "You think you'll fit up there?" I'm just the stage rose like.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
Yep.
We make it work.
Yep. And you did. Yeah, something else. Yes, I thought there's no way those guys are going to be able to make it. There's 6 of them. There's no chance. We only have 3 pieces.
It's
Mark,
not a huge stage, yeah.
I say Mark killed it that night too, and I know there was hardly anybody there for him, but as an opener,
yeah, no, he does every night. He's one of those people that you scratch your head like he should have been kind of Elton John level. I think. Like he could have been. There's any number of scenarios where he could have been and should have been much bigger.
Right, alternate universe type stuff.
Yeah, he deserves it. He's like you have the people like myself. I can write a good lyric, but I can't like produce music, and I can't I can barely play guitar. I'm like a very below average musician. It's like I'm a good songwriter, but that's about it. Whereas Mark does all that like at A+ level. He's a great like engineer. He's a great lyricist. He's a great songwriter and a great musician. It's like there are very few people who do the grand slam like that. So
and he's from Minnesota, is that right? Isn't he?
He's from Milwaukee, but he's lived in
Milwaukee.
Yeah, he's lived in Minneapolis a long time.
So how did you hook up with Mark?
It's funny. I knew who he was because there was a woman who ran like a Tumblr page. She ran one for me and one for him. She had crushes on both of us, and we were like her like so like and she so I was aware of him like via that. Then he opened up for us at Turner Hall in Milwaukee, and I was like, oh, I get to see this guy, and with all the just knowing what I was in for, I was still blown away. Like it's one of those things where like you hear what it's going to be, and then you actually see it, and it just exceeds your expectations. And it was great. So I've known him ever since that night, which is like over a decade ago now.
Nice.
Yeah, I was really impressed. Just the fact I had to go up to meet him, and that's how I ran into you. I don't know if you remember the Waxy P hat. That was kind of funny.
The wax. No, I don't. I'm sorry.
I have this hat, and it's like a trucker cap, and it says Waxy P on it.
Right.
Which at some point became my rap name.
That's a good name.
And I know what it was. I was actually at Matt's house looking up something on a kidney infection on his computer, and I think I just yelled out one of the symptoms across the room, and I said, Waxy P.
That was it?
And that was it.
That was, a rap sensation was born.
Yeah, I wore it that night, and you told what people were there that there's a new rapper here in town, Waxy P.
P's in the house tonight.
Waxy P's in the house. She's going to drop a live tape.
Yeah, it sounds cliche, but I've basically been on the road for 17 years, so I can't remember.
Yeah,
yep. That's why this year actually is going to be really good for me because I've been I've been meaning to I have been meaning to take a sizable break and just like been afraid to do it. So the decision's being made for me. By God,
right. I would imagine there are a number of artists that probably they're taking a break they needed to take a long time ago, but just kind of couldn't do it. I've seen some. I worry about them. Like, God, they're on tour again. I won't name names.
Yeah, they're for the longest time, for like the first like 8-9 years. I mean, there was kind of no downside, and then myself, I can't speak for the other guys, but like you start having kids, you go away from your kids. I mean, you're wrestling with the guilt of being away from your kids, and that started to manifest
right.
a few years ago, and like you don't realize that's what's pulling you down, and then you have a couple anxiety attacks, and you're like wondering what's causing that. And I think I got to the point where that's it. So you kind of learn to manage that better. It doesn't go away, and for that, it is great that I'm going to be home this year, is that I get to be around my kids 24/7. I also have to be around my kids 24/7.
Right.
Yeah. So it's both. But yeah, I mean, like if somebody could use a break, it's probably me.
Yeah. How old are the kids?
7 and 2.
Oh, okay. How's the homeschooling going?
It's going all right. I mean, I think her school has done a really, really good job on short notice, like putting it together, and they're tweaking it now. You were talking about phases. Now they're in phase 2, where we got an email the other night, and they're like saying, you know what, maybe we were doing this the wrong way. We're going to try different approaches. We're not going to assign you as much busy work because it's clear that, as 7-year-olds, we've given you too much work. And so they're monitoring it. They're making sure that it's the right amount. And, it's cool to actually like see her do her work and like how her mind works in that setting.
Yeah, it's been difficult here, to say the least. I've got an 11-year-old at home. Matt's got what?
10.
Is he 10?
Yeah,
10-year-old at home. Yeah.
It's probably a little more manageable, I would think. I mean, but yeah, I don't know. Everyone's got their own situations to deal with, and
right.
The other thing is, this is New York real estate, so I'm in a 750 square foot apartment.
Right.
Yeah. So it's challenging. Yeah, I was talking with another dad of one of my daughter's friends, and we were just saying that like New York really sucks when they take away all the stuff. It's like you live here for all the stuff, but then they take the stuff away.
Right. Yeah.
Except that one Mexican place does deliver, so that's good.
That's good. God bless those people. Yeah.
Yep.
All over. They're doing that here too. Yeah, my kid found a dead possum at the edge of the woods today by the creek by our house. They're having a funeral for it tomorrow.
Right.
That's what's going on here. They took a card around to all the neighbors and had them sign it.
They took the dead possum in a cart?
No. I told them don't touch that fucking thing by any means necessary.
Don't let it touch you.
Right. But I'm like, if you want to put a tombstone by it or whatever, they're painting rocks and, I was like, don't touch it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a different experience than we have here for sure.
Yeah,
here we just have dead chuds, all the chuds that live in the subway system, they're
right, Bud included.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's they told me that just a few minutes ago. Dad, I took the card around to everybody in the neighborhood and had them sign it. I was like, don't do that. It was a little too late.
That's a good activity.
So, yeah, it was.
Yeah,
I just hope he's not known as the neighborhood weird kid as a result.
No, that's good. I was known as the neighborhood weird kid, and now I've been to 35 countries.
There you go.
Yeah, that's true. So were you born in Detroit or how long?
No, I was born in Pittsburgh, and I moved to the Detroit area in kindergarten, but then I moved around again and eventually came back. So I did high school in Detroit, but I moved all over the place. I was like an Army brat, but it wasn't the Army. It was sales.
Mm.
Yeah. Is that where you got bit by the music bug?
Music bug it was definitely in Detroit. I was very sporty up until I moved to Detroit, and then I fell in with a already musical crowd, and I think that was it. One thing I did notice though is because I moved a lot and because I was the new kid like every 2 years, that really, really was good for me as a touring musician. And I've noticed that the original lineup of our band kind of imploded, and I also realized none of those guys had ever moved. They all grew up in the same house that kindergarten through, and they just had being on the road freaked them the fuck out. Like they couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like Bill Clinton. I was just energized by meeting people.
Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just couldn't wait to go meet new people. And they were just terrified about it. And it's interesting. I was wondering what the fuck is going on here? How is this so hard for you guys? And it's just
yeah.
And then after you back up and kind of realize why that was, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. And I think it's a significant thing if it's somebody who hasn't moved a lot or hasn't done that. I mean, I was moved when I was 17 the first time. I was ever moved by my parents to a different town. It was difficult.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I mean, I wasn't. I didn't mean to sound like I was passing judge.
Oh,
no. But I mean, like, my point was, like, at the time, I couldn't understand why they were having such a hard time, and
Sure,
and like, it was only like after a few years, like, you sit back and analyze it, like, oh, that's probably why that was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to say that I've done it a few more times since, and every time it gets easier. It's just you realize that you don't have you can make home anywhere.
Yeah, it's true. And the other thing this is kind of slightly related. Raising kids here in New York City, I realized when I was in the Detroit suburbs, it's just the only kids are from your high school and from your school district. Whereas here, it's just like, she knows the people from her school. She knows the people from her, like, from the block. She knows the people from, like, this class, that class. I mean, she has just so many, like, vectors of friendship around here. And it's like, for me, it was never like that. It was just the same 30 to 50 kids that,
right.
And so it's, so she's already, like, light years ahead of where I was at.
Right.
Has it been an adjustment for her to not have access to all of those people now?
Probably, yeah. We're starting to see, like, 5 weeks into this, the wheels are kind of falling off, but she's doing great. She's embraced it, and she's taken on the big sister role really well. And
right.
We're all kind of in it together. I have noticed that, she's not as good at Zoom and FaceTime as you would like her to be in these situations. She just kind of clams up, and they don't really talk about anything. Like, hey, do you want to do a FaceTime with, Sophia? And she's like, sure. And then they just sit there and they don't say anything. So
yeah,
we let ours are besties, and we let ours record their own episode of a podcast.
Yeah.
It wasn't too bad.
Making their old men proud. Is that right? My father was a podcast host. His father was a podcast host.
And you're going to be. They really weren't bad at all. I had notes for them,
Yeah.
when they were finished.
There were some funny parts.
Well, they did have some gold in there. I think we're going to release that for Father's Day probably this year.
Yeah.
Good for you guys. That's fantastic.
Except they want to start their own show.
They want to start their own, yeah.
And I'm not producing it.
I'm going to let you guys sort that out. I'm going to sit that one out. I'm not getting involved.
I appreciate that. I'll appreciate that.
Yeah, no, but it was funny.
Yeah.
So have you been working on any, like, new songs or ideas?
Yeah, I'm always doing that. I'm trying to find time after the kids go to bed. I have like 2-3 hours to hopefully. So the songs are coming. The other thing I've been doing lately is I'm now on my 6th pornographic audiobook. I've written these detective novels about a character named Bart Duquesne, who's like an LA private detective. And I just wrapped up the 6th one last week, so that's going to come out soon. And so I've really enjoyed doing that. Well, and then this guy in Las Vegas came up with an idea. Like, he's a big fan of the books. I think they've canceled Burning Man this year, but the next Burning Man, he wants to erect a giant statue of me. And like have not statue giant robot of me at Burning Man. He wants it reading my books, like the audiobooks, like at Burning Man. I was like, yeah, go for it, man. That's incredible. Nice. So when I wrote these when I started writing these books, I didn't have Burning Man in mind. So, like, it's cool that that's actually happening.
I read a little of your work today. I read Residential Intruders in the 21st Century.
Oh, sure. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, a good read.
Yeah,
tongue in cheek, I hope.
Yeah, I had to write that.
Okay,
I wrote that a long time ago. That was a work for hire.
Oh, it was okay.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. It was I think it was for a British kind of coffee table magazine. They wanted some insightful writing from me, and so I did it. And then I ended up just putting it on the internet. But the pornographic thrillers, I'm actually really proud of. They've come out. They've exceeded my expectations.
Awesome. I'll have to check them out. I downloaded that one, honestly, because it was a whopping, 5 or 6 pages.
Oh, yeah, it's short. Yeah. Not a huge investment.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right. So what's the latest release? Bride of the Devil, right? Is that?
Yes, that came out 2018, I think, end of 2018. Yeah, I think once I had the second kid and Nash had a kid, the whole album a year thing was just done. Yeah, it's kind of impossible. And now we're just working at it, kind of 1 song, 2 songs at a time, or maybe 3-4 songs into the next album. And we were intending to use this year to make some headway. It's probably not going to happen. So right. I mean, I'm sure we'll get back to it at some point. It's just not this month. I mean, I was I was meant to spend a good portion of March in Detroit recording, and just couldn't do that now. So
yeah, it's got to be tough traveling from one place to another. Do you think that made a difference? When you were all in the same place, as far as everybody showing up and getting shit done?
Yeah, I mean, we've recorded on the road before as well.
Uh-huh.
I think, yeah, we went so hard for so long, like doing an album a year, always staying on the road, and it's just like we're finally at the point now where it's like, if we took 2, 3, 4 years off, so what? That's what most normal bands do. I mean, so like, if our next record doesn't come out till 2022, 2023, we're fine. I mean, it's like, I think we've proven the point.
Yeah.
We've proven the point. I mean, I would like to get one out earlier than that, but we've become much more zen at this point, and we're not like freaked out by failure, or like, if we don't put an album this year, we're done. Like that's literally how we used to think. Like, people are going to forget about us, and now it's like 14 albums in. I think we feel pretty good about it.
Yeah.
Wow. At what point do you like feel comfortable? I guess I don't know if that's even the best way of putting it.
Yeah, I'm fairly like I'm driven, and I don't even think I'm competitive, or like just I don't even know with myself or with any other person, but it's just like I'm actually doing a podcast now on my Patreon page about all the jobs I had before Electric Six. I got the record deal when I was 30, and I think it's because I had so many shitty jobs like in my teens and my 20s that's all this is. It's just like once this happened and I saw I could make a little money, and I was just determined never ever to have another job, and like so it's just like just ultra driven. That's kind of it. Like I don't care if you think the record sucks, that's fine. I don't care about that. Like you can tell me my record sucks, but I want to get a record out there that somebody who doesn't think it sucks is going to buy, and that will keep me on the road. So that's basically it. Like I'm not seeking to make the perfect album. I'm seeking to make a decent album and then just tour on that, and that's kind of how I've always approached it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the shittiest job was that you ever had?
It's
Or do you don't want to name names?
I haven't I won't say the name of the company, but
Okay.
it is funny that I only lasted 2 days. Basically what it was I do like driving jobs. I like any job where you're driving,
Uh-huh.
and I've had a few of them. So I answered an ad to be a delivery driver for like a fish wholesaler, I guess. I would deliver iced crates of fish to restaurants to be used in the restaurant, like all over Detroit, and and that was it. And I would have loved it if that was the job, and that is what I got hired for. I answered the ads like, "Oh, congratulations!" And I was like, "Oh, so when do I start?" It's like, "We start tomorrow, but we're going to put you in the fish room for 2 weeks, so you know what you're delivering." And even then, I was like, "Okay, that checks out." So
Right.
so like you're in this in this cooler, like it's kept at like 35 degrees, and you're in like a hazmat suit, and you're in there with like 14 other guys, and you're deboning and scaling fish, and there's no windows in there, and everybody's nose is running, and you're in there for 8 hours, just like and fish guts and everything. And the first day I'm just like, this sucks, but I only have 9 more days after this, and then I'm driving,
Mm-hmm.
So the second day, I'm like, now what's in my head, that whole this sucks, I'm actually saying that out loud to like the guy next to me. I'm like, this fucking sucks, but 8 days from now, I'm going to be behind the wheel of a car, of a truck. And the guy just goes, he tell everybody that. I'm like, excuse me? And he's like, he said, you gonna be a driver? You ain't gonna be a driver. And I immediately went to the guy who hired me, and I'm just like, so get some intel from some of the guys in the fish room, and like, I'm not going to be a driver, am I? And he's just like, where did you hear that? And I said, the guys down in the fish room. And he's like, well, don't talk to them, talk to me. I'm like, I am talking to you. He's like, I don't have time for this, get back to work. I'm like, fuck you. Like, I just walked away. But then what's funny about that was like, 8 months, like long enough time. I got a job like at like at Starbucks or something. I was like slinging coffee, and the hipster guy comes in, and he orders a coffee. And he looks at me and goes, you worked at so and so fish, and I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you were the guy. You were there for like 2 days, and then you quit. I'm like, how do you remember that? And he basically told me I was the only other white hipster there. That's why he remembered me. And I was like, so did you ever get to be a driver? He's like, no, but I got like 50 cent an hour raise. I was making like $7 an hour. It was nice.
Oh shit!
Like whatever, dude. But yeah, that comes to mind as the worst job. So.
Yeah,
That's pretty bad.
I was only there for like a day and a half. There's jobs are fun, but the best one I've ever had is Electric Six. So that's why I'm determined to keep it going.
Nice. Yeah, I think the worst one I ever had was detasseling corn. I don't know if you lived far enough out to do that.
Corn or corn?
Corn.
Corn would be fun if you're
detasseling corn cobs or corn stalks.
Yeah.
God, it's miserable.
I would just think there'd be a lot of like all day long. A lot of God damn it, God damn it. Yeah. That's how I picture that.
Yeah, I'm being screamed at a lot. Oh, yeah. So, like, Matt, what was yours?
Wow, I'm trying to think of what my worst job. I've had a few. I can tell you, like, a job that I hated that I really wanted to like. I would call to get people to donate to PBS.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I believe in this. That's a good cause, and I can make a little money doing this, and it's something I could do that. And it was it was terrible just asking people for money. I didn't realize like how much I would hate.
Yeah, it's a tough
people for money.
It's not easy.
I gave it my best, and after like a week, my boss pulled me aside and she was like, "You don't have to do this."
She felt sorry.
She was super nice about it. She's like, "I see you every day, and you come in, and I can see you're going to do it, but I also see your face every time you dial the phone."
Yeah, there are certain things that are for people and aren't for people, and a lot of people can recognize that. So
right, and so that was like the coolest firing I ever got. She was like, "If you want to stick around, that's fine, but don't feel like you have to stay."
Yeah, I've had a few of those.
Thank you. Yeah. And I'll leave. Bye.
See ya.
There are a lot of empathetic bosses out there that you just have to find them.
But I thought I would like it.
Yeah, try it. See if you like it. See what happens.
Yeah. Until you just find out that it's just soliciting, essentially what you're doing. But even though it's for a good cause, I hated sales and soliciting. Yeah, just having to ask and garner money from people is difficult. Especially, when you're selling them something they can't afford.
Yeah, I'm very type C myself, so I was just never cut out for sales. I think I tried it once, and I do have fun now peddling my books and my solo albums. I enjoy that. So it's like it's when you get 100% of the profit,
right?
Then you suddenly become money motivated. When it's just no middleman whatsoever or no company to feed. Then I think anybody can do it at that point.
Yeah, especially when it's your own product and it's your own worth.
Exactly.
It's your own thing. It's not just you changing money around. That's making you money through commissions and shit like that. Ugh.
Yep.
Didn't care for it.
Yep.
Gave me ulcers.
How are those doing now?
Good. They did fine as soon as I quit. Yep.
Is there anything you wanted to talk about tonight? Is there something in particular that was like, this has just been kind of on my mind lately?
No, I mean, not really. I mean, I love both your markets. And like I said, like we have elected to have days off in Columbia. Like if we're anywhere near, if it's sort of on the way, we will spend the off day in Columbia. I think we've had like more elective off nights in Columbia, and we just love it. We just like, we know like where to go, where to eat, and it's just, kind of a nice little, I don't want to say like a spa, but like we always feel like, it's just a place we enjoy spending time. So that's good. And then, all the shows in KC have been a lot of fun as well. I never mind rolling up to the Riot Room and playing a show. It's always a pleasant experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We look forward to having you back. Absolutely.
Yep.
Have to come find you and hang out. There's some new spots around here too. Pretty good places to eat. Things like that I can recommend. Yeah. I know. Yeah, we want to let you get to that. We don't want to keep you too long or anything. The end of episodes lately kind of fall apart anyway, just because we're usually like, one of our big questions on the exit is like, so what do you got playing coming up? When's the next show? What do you, because we like to help promote, but like,
oh yeah, you got nothing now.
yeah, nothing's happening. It's like, well, I'm going to watch Wheel of Fortune tomorrow, and
pretty much, Yeah, my new audiobook should come out this week.
Oh, okay.
Called The Velvet Waterfall. It's all my books are about, like the first book is called Chinatown Reach Around. The second one is Fairfax Facial. Third one is Glendale Glory Hole. So The Velvet Waterfall, obviously the sex act is not in the title, but the sex act is docking.
Okay.
So this book is about docking. So I've spent basically 3 hours analyzing docking and
doing research. Yeah.
So that's what the book's about. Yeah, like as I said, we're slowly but surely working on a new E6 record. I'm going to be recording a new solo album in August or so. So things are happening, albeit slowly.
Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, that's not just falling apart too badly.
Absolutely.
But
not too quickly. No.
Not too quickly. We will. Yeah, we'll make it. I think we'll make it.
Yeah.
We're going to get through this.
Yeah. Nobody has any idea, but I throw my hat in with the optimist for sure.
All right. Sounds good. All right, everybody. You've been listening to Dick Valentine on Undetermined the podcast. Thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate it. I had a really good time.
Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, I enjoy doing things like this. I can't wait to get out there for real. Maybe not this year, but hopefully next year.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, anytime you want to come on, let us know.
Get some shit off my chest. Yeah.
There you go.
Drunk podcast. Yeah, no, I could do the total. I just got a fucking shit out of you guys. Oh, fuck, I just fucking shit. Yeah, exactly.
That'd be a best episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You guys ever just fucking? I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Just fucking. I'll leave you with that. That was.
That'll be our teaser.
We'll do another episode of it.
On our Facebook page, we just did an Ask Me Anything where, I did answer like 20 questions. And I think one of them was about like, has anyone ever proposed on stage? And the answer is yes. And we kind of talked about how there was one in Hoboken, New Jersey. That was the only one where the bride-to-be did not say yes. Like the guy was rejected on stage. So I had a friend like text me wanting to know more about that. And the thing was that guy was just such a doofus, and he was every we always do it during improper dancing. So we go stop, and then before we continue, we have people come up and do the wedding proposal. Mm-hmm. And so I go stop, and then I introduce them, and she knows what's going on, and he gets down on his knee, and I hand him the microphone. But then he's one of those guys that like prefaces every third word with fucking. It's like, it's like, so it's like, it's like, man,
I've had to edit a few of those.
So great. Yeah, it's just like, Mary, fucking, I just want to say that, fucking, I mean, like, I love you and fucking, it was amazing. And then, she said no in front of all these people. And this is like in 2008. So you're still in MySpace then, and I knew who the guy was on MySpace. I went to his profile. It had your current mood. So his current mood was irate. Should have been fucking irate.
Fucking irate. Yes, to make sure.
I love it. I've seen this so many times. Like we, another move I have is if you come on stage a lot of times, like if you run on stage in the middle of our set. And you want to be the wacky guy who humps my leg while I'm
right.
Yeah, that douchebag.
We just stop the music and I hand you the microphone and walk away. It's like you wanted to be on stage. Here you go. And like 9 times out of 10 they weren't expecting that, nor do they know what to say. It's like and like everyone starts booing them and like throwing stuff and
right.
Like it's also usually that guy. It's just like you get the microphone like I just want to fucking. It's so great. Like they don't know what they're doing.
yeah. As a DJ, I used to DJ, just parties and stuff too. And I'd get that guy all the time. He'd want to give me the mic. Yeah. No, get the fuck away from me. Give me the mic, and then I'd get beer spill all over my shit. Yeah. And I had to yell at him.
Yeah. It's such a great preface to your thought. Like, I just want to say, fucking.
Will you fucking marry me?
That was it. Well, that was totally it.
Play this Molly Hatchet song. They're gonna love it, man. I swear to you.
I like that. Well, yeah. Thanks, guys. I do appreciate it. I will come back sometime. Next time I do this, I'll be drunk. That's the idea.
Awesome. That'll be even better. We'll all be drunk.
Okay.
All right. Cheers, man.
Okay. Bye-bye. Good night.
All right.